All right. Good evening, everyone. Call the City Council meeting for Wednesday, September 23rd to order. A lot of things going on in our world and community, so please take a moment and think about those as we have a moment of silence. Thank you. If Alderwoman Lee would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Alderwoman Lee. Brian, please call the roll.
Dunn.
Here.
Dorman.
Here.
McGinnis.
Here.
Lee. Grip.
Here.
Condon.
Here.
Peacock.
Here.
Dickman.
Here.
Jobson.
Here.
And Ambrose.
Here.
10 present, Your Honor.
Thank you, Brian. Good evening, everyone. Again, as we begin the meeting of the City Council, I'd like to welcome everyone in attendance and those who are viewing out in our computer area. We respectfully welcome your comments and opinions. Please keep in mind that as you talk to the council, you're sharing your thoughts with all of your fellow Davenporters and viewers throughout the region. We're happy you're participating in your city government and ask your participation reflect the common desire we all share to make Davenport a greater place for everyone. If you have an electronic device, please silent or turn it off so it doesn't get in the way of anybody talking. If you want to address the council on any item, please come to the podium, give your name or an address or ward. If you're not from here, we'd love to know where you're from. And please be respectful. We'll be respectful of you. And please, everyone, I know you will, observe the common accepted rules of courtesy, decorum, dignity, and good taste. Thank you. Will an alderman please move approval of the City Council meeting minutes for September 9th, 2020?
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. Ms. Spiegel, our city administrator, is there any update from you this evening?
Just a reminder that there is a fifth Wednesday next week, so we will consider that an off week and return to the chambers the first Wednesday in October.
Roger that. Thank you very much. Will an alderman please move approval of the report of the Committee of the Whole for September 16th?
So move.
Move. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. We have two proclamations this evening. I'll read the first one and give a little history on this one. It's for Childhood Cancer Awareness Day, and we have a specific example from a family here, so please bear with me. Hudson is a courageous 3-year-old boy, and the family, we believe, is watching this on TV. Diagnosed with leukemia just weeks before his second birthday. One of 43 children diagnosed with cancer daily. Typical toddler who loved cars, his baby sister Violet, dog Eleanor, and playing outside. On March 7th, 2019, our entire universe changed and will never be the same. We heard the words no parent ever wants to hear: your child has cancer. He has been through more in his 3 years of life than most will in a lifetime. His treatment consists of harsh chemotherapy, both into his veins and spine, and will continue through May of 2022. The medication received are decades old with significant side effects and long risks. At one point, he could no longer walk, sit, eat, or talk. Childhood cancer is greatly underfunded. Funding could mean less invasive treatments, less long-term damage, and hopefully a cure for childhood cancer. Hudson's fortunate that he has a favorable diagnosis. Fortunate to make it this far in his treatment without the treatment or cancer taking his life. Other families obviously cannot say the same. We see Hudson struggle through things most do not want to speak about. This is reality for cancer families. We've seen him near death and watched him find the strength to live. He's received numerous transfusions that have kept him alive thanks to many courageous blood donors. Kids deserve more than this. They deserve more than 4% of research funding. On behalf of Hudson and all childhood cancer warriors, please help spread the awareness. So, proclamation. Whereas Childhood Cancer Awareness Month is an opportunity to remember and honor the children who have passed, to celebrate the advancements in diagnostics and treatment that have increased the 5-year survival rate, and to recognize the families and organizations who continue to fight and bring awareness. And whereas childhood cancer is the leading cause of death by disease in children in the United States, Globally, over 300,000 new cases of cancer are diagnosed each year, and in the United States, approximately 800 children and their families will receive this heartbreaking diagnosis. It is estimated that close to 1,200 children will lose their battle with cancer this year alone. And whereas the root cause of most childhood cancers is unknown, unlike adult cancers, there are few environmental or lifestyle factors that can be determined as the cause of the disease. And whereas over 95% of childhood cancer survivors suffer from chronic health-related issues later in life, including secondary cancers and cognitive impairments, which impact their overall quality of life as adults. And whereas despite the number of cancer diagnoses each year, childhood cancer research is consistently underfunded, with only 4% of the federal budget from the National Cancer Institute being dedicated to childhood cancer research. And whereas families witness their loved ones struggle through harsh treatments that are decades old and have significant side effects of treatment and long-term risks, and now therefore we, Mayor Mike Mattson, and Davenport City Council, do hereby proclaim September 2020 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in the city of Davenport, and urge all residents to join with millions of Americans in helping to support the efforts of Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and to remember the young ones who have lost their battle with childhood cancer. The city of Davenport Sky Bridge will display the color yellow from Monday, September 21st through Sunday, September 27th, in recognition of Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. I move the proclamation.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Very good. And we'll make sure the family gets this. They were planning to come, but they had to go to Iowa City because of this. So we know they're watching, and our prayers and thoughts are with them. So, okay, next proclamation, Fire Prevention Week. Alderman Jobson, please.
The proclamation reads as such: whereas fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and the city of Davenport is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting Davenport, and whereas Fire Prevention Week is celebrated annually during the week in which October 9th falls, and according to the National Archives and Records Administration, Fire Prevention Week is the longest running public health and safety observance on record, with a national observance every year since 1925, and whereas with the theme of Serve Up Fire Safety in the Kitchen, the 2020 Fire Prevention Week campaign reminds residents to never leave cooking unattended, keep all items that can catch on fire at least 3 feet away from the stove, and always be on alert. And whereas the Davenport Fire Department is dedicating the month of October to community outreach and encourages residents to have working smoke alarms and to create and practice a home escape plan twice a year, once during the day and once at night, using different ways out. And whereas residents and visitors are urged to be aware of their surroundings, look for available ways out in the event of a fire or emergency, respond when the smoke alarm sounds by leaving a building immediately, and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of the Davenport Fire Department during Fire Prevention Week. And now, therefore, we, Mayor Mike Mattson, and the Davenport City Council do hereby proclaim October 4th through 10th, 2020 as Fire Prevention Week, and encourage all citizens of our community to join with millions of Americans in helping to support the efforts and awareness of fire safety and prevention. The City of Davenport Sky Bridge will display the color red from Monday, October 5th through Sunday, October 11th in recognition of Fire Prevention Week, dated this 23rd day of September 2020. I move the proclamation. All in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. To receive the proclamation, we have our Fire Chief Mike Carlston and Fire Marshal Jim Morris. Good. Okay.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Steve. Real quick, I'd like to thank the mayor and the council for this proclamation. Cooking fires are over half the injuries, and home fires are started by cooking fires. And a majority of the time that is in the kitchen. And 2/3 of the fires that start in the kitchen are because food is left unattended as cooking, and also we have combustibles near the stove. So that's why it's so important. We really appreciate your commitment this year with turning Skybridge red. With the Skybridge red this year, it reminds the community of fire prevention because we're not going to be able to get in the schools as we typically do. We are still getting the educational material out to the schools. We're going to try to follow up in the spring with the school children to make sure that that happens, but we have come up with social media plans and also some videos to make sure that this message is important all through October. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, now I'm also proud to recognize a couple folks. So Police Lieutenant Greg Benning with Chief Sikorsky and Fire Captain Todd Wichelow with Chief Carlson. Would please come up? So on Monday, September 15th, American Legion Post 26 honored Davenport Police Lieutenant Greg Benning and Davenport Fire Captain Todd Wichelow as their Police Officer and Firefighter of the Year. Proud to also honor them before the City Council here tonight. These men are shining examples of the Davenport Police and Fire Departments, and we're proud to recognize their service. So Firefighter of the Year. Captain Wichelow, who has been a Davenport firefighter for nearly 30 years, was recognized for his work maintaining and acquiring personal protective equipment during the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as providing first aid to a climber who was seriously injured in a 30-foot fall. Wichelow, Davenport Fire Department's EMS officer, has maintained the supply of appropriate personal protective equipment for the department, acquiring masks, eye protection, and gowns, which fell to short supply at times early in the pandemic. With Davenport Fire Department's Medical Director, Wichelow established needed changes to safety protocols for first responders during the pandemic. He assisted the Davenport Police Department and City Administration in obtaining the proper equipment for all essential workers. Wichelow also serves as the liaison for the Scott County Fire Department to the Scott County Emergency Management Agency as part of its COVID-19 response. As part of his award, Officer Wichelow was also recognized for providing life-saving assistance at a local state park. He was walking with his wife at a local state park, came across a man who had fallen about 30 feet off a rock cliff and suffered serious injuries. Officer Wichelow and his wife administered first aid and notified medical crews of the situation. Due to his condition and location, a helicopter was called to airlift the man. Mr. Wichelow assisted medical crews and rode in the ambulance to a farm field where they met the helicopter for transport. Police Officer of the Year, Lieutenant Benning, a 25-year veteran of the Davenport Police Department, was recognized for his gallantry and bravery while at risk of his own life that allowed him and two fellow officers to safely exit a violent attack and ultimately save the lives of his fellow officers during the unrest of May 31st. On Sunday, May 31st at 10:55 p.m., the Davenport Police Department activated a department-wide call-out for all available police personnel to respond to the station equipped with helmet and riot gear. Davenport Police, in coordination with city officials, also requested that residents shelter in place and to stay in their homes due to citywide civil unrest. These emergency directives were issued due to violence citywide with more than 100 vehicles occupied by rioters roaming throughout the city, involved in shots fired incidents, rioting, and looting of businesses. Over the next 4 hours, there were 4 shooting victims with 2 fatalities and 1 officer shot in an ambush. During the same time, officers responded to 45 serious disturbances, calls, and numerous businesses being looted. Their businesses included pawn shops, jewelry shops, department stores, and a mall and convenience stores. At approximately 2:55 a.m., officers observed 3 suspect vehicles traveling together through a neighborhood. During mobile surveillance, the 3 vehicles split up, with one of the vehicles going down an alley eastbound in the area of 14th and Myrtle. Officers followed one of the vehicles eastbound an alley when suddenly the officers began taking simultaneous gunfire from the east in front and from the north left of the driver's side. During the ambush, a fellow officer was shot twice. While the truck was taking hostile gunfire, Lieutenant Benning kept his composure and directed the wounded officer to drive the truck through and out of the ambush zone to safety. As the wounded officer was driving, Lieutenant Benning could not see the attackers in the darkened night. He returned gunfire through the back window towards the gunshot flashes that he saw. Lieutenant Benning heroically returned fire while being shot at from multiple sides and being covered in glass from rounds breaking the windshield in both front passenger windows. Lieutenant Benning's actions allowed other responding officers to pursue a suspect vehicle and successfully apprehend 6 suspects, 7 firearms, in addition to ammunition and magazines from inside the vehicle. Lieutenant Benning's conduct, actions, and professionalism in a very dangerous and stressful situation are a credit to his commitment, Davenport Police Department, and the citizens of Davenport.
One more, we got eyes closed.
I think for the Firefighter and Officer of the Year, they deserve a standing ovation.
Thank you.
Freaking glasses. Where is that, my glasses? Oh, well. Okay, I'll just deal with it. Okay, petitions and communications from my colleagues. Anyone? Alderwoman McGinnis.
Thank you, Your Honor. We're getting there, 7 days away till the end of the census, and we have some more stats to report tonight. We are sitting in self-response in Iowa at 70.9%. That is below where we were in 2010. We're far ahead of the country, of course. That's 66.2%, which we expect to be. Great news, Scott County today surpassed its 2010 response rate, and I think that's great. It was 72.8% in 2010, and it's at 72.9%. So I have confidence that will continue to grow, and that's all of the cities, of course, in Scott County, and including the cities. Now, Davenport, we are still not at where we were in 2010, but we were at 68.8% today. And I'm doing these every day and posting them up on Facebook so that people can see. The non-response follow-up is slower in Iowa than we'd like it to be, and that's a problem. We have some great census workers out there, but I'm not sure we had enough. But in any case, that's at 23.8% today. So when you add the self-response, which we've all been working on since March, and the follow-up enumeration, we're at 94.7%. That puts us at 36th in the country, which isn't a great position for a state that's been #1 in the past. But there have been a variety of issues, for everything from weather to a COVID spike that happened when the census workers went out in the field. So we're going to continue to work, and there has been a tremendous amount of activity. We had people from out of town here with the census who were door hanging. They hung several thousand of our door hangers. They were they went to a cafe on Vine. They went to apartment buildings. They went to trailer parks. And so they've been out and about, and these are people that don't do the census, but are helping to promote awareness of it. And I was told we also had extra enumerators here. So that's been happening. We did do a news conference on Monday, and thanks to everybody who helped make that happen and turn that around, Sarah Ott and Jerry Nagel particularly, and Samantha. In any case, we again try to push the message out, and we continue. And tomorrow, the city will be doing an event at the Fairmont Library and the Downtown Library from 12 noon to 7 p.m. You can come and do your census, and everybody who does a census tomorrow, the first 100 people that come at each of the locations will get a $5 White Eats gift card. So you have to complete a census that day. So please, if you've got a friend, if you've done it, congratulations. If you haven't, get it done. Come to the library or go online at home. It's very easy. And then please help anybody who hasn't done it. We do have some reporting to do on the census tract self-response rates in our city. And so I'll cut to the chase, and anything that's green is good. Green means that these census tracts have met or exceeded 2010. So we've been tracking this for a few weeks. 19 out of our 34 census tracts have exceeded the 2010 self-response rate, and some have done extremely well. The sort of leading one is in Census Tract 12802 in terms of its, I'm sorry, I've got the wrong one. It is 12801, which is well above its return. And it wasn't the highest returning census tract in the city in 2010, but it has this year has the greatest increase over what it did in 2010. And so that's great news. And then Census Tract 131 has 84.3% of the people in that census tract did self-response on their census, and that's a tremendous number. So we're hoping that those good numbers, that self-response, which is still going on, will help, along with the enumeration that's going on, to help to bring our numbers up. We did have some good news this week in that I check all these census tracts every week and how they've grown, or how much has been added, and we had some substantial, like half a percentage point in a week is phenomenal, and we had that happen week to week in some of our poorer responding census tracts, so that's very exciting as well. We all but 2 census tracts saw increases, and those were ones that were already over where they were at 2010. So again, I want to thank everybody who's helped with this, who is helping with this. It's www.my2020census.gov. My number is 563-326-3290. Call me. I'll hook you up. I'll help you figure out how to do it. If you can help somebody, it's very easy to do online. If you can't do that, come to our event tomorrow. We have 7 more days. Wednesday is it. So we really need to keep moving, and we've had great increases over the week, and I've seen them every day, so we need to keep pushing this. So please help us out, and let's get her done. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderwoman McGinnis, and thank you very much for your leadership on this. Alderman Jobson.
Well, if I had known Whitey's was on the line, I would have waited a little longer to complete my census. But since we're off next week, just want to make an announcement that Tuesday, October 13th, 6:30 p.m. at Duck Creek Park Lodge will be the next 6th Ward meeting. Mallory Merritt will be there to give us the Reader's Digest version on budgeting and how that all goes. And then also, even though it's on the consent agenda, I was wondering if Parks Director Chad Dyson would be able to just give a brief little word on the addition of the Jersey Farms Park.
Thank you, Chad Dyson, Parks and Rec Director. Up on the screen is the master plan concept for the newest addition to the Davenport Park system. This is Jersey Farms Neighborhood Park. We started this process back in the fall with the neighborhoods leading the master planning process through a Walk the Park event and a series of neighborhood meetings. And what you have up here is the final concept that came out of that meeting. We are entering or looking to enter phase 1 construction of the park and the development, which will entail the interior trail, the shelter components, the 10 parking stalls, as well as the playground. You can see there's future amenities if additional funding becomes available down the road, pickleball courts, potentially bocce courts, as well as horseshoe pits. So we're excited, the neighborhood's excited, and always great to preserve green space in Davenport and add recreational amenities for our constituents. So.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Jobson. And when pickleball starts up, Mr. Dyson, the last time a pickleball started up, there was a challenge, and the staff was beat by a few folks up here. So just so you know. All right, Alderman Peacock, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And to the fire chief, I had the opportunity to apologize to the police chief already for my absence at the American Legion, because I am a member. I wasn't there for the presentation, but I was I was happy and honored to see those guys get awarded and get presented before the city council. I greatly appreciate their heroics and their activism within public safety. Can, one of my favorites, is she here today? Nicole Gleason, are you here today? Okay. Can you come forward, please? I can't see behind the pole, I apologize. I know you gave her a brief during our municipal update. Can you tell us where we are with the last bit of cleanup?
Yeah, actually, quite a bit of it was picked up last week. So we're seeing as we do our final rounds this week that most of it, especially, so right this week, we're running concurrently with solid waste north routes. So most of that had been picked up. Next week, we'll be finishing up on solid waste south routes. And by October 2nd, we're gonna close out that derecho cleanup activity. So we're glad to do that.
Thank you so very
Yep.
much for that. One more thing. September 29th, which is a Tuesday, I will be hosting a 7th Ward meeting here in the city chambers. Once again, the 29th of Tuesday, 6 o'clock, I will host a 7th Ward meeting. I will have the honor and privilege of having Nevada Lemke to discuss the Good Neighbor Project, as well as a representative from the Davenport Police Department discuss public safety in the 7th Ward. I'll be so honored to have everybody to be in attendance, and I greatly appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman Peacock. We have, I see no one else. Very good. Okay, we have no items. I'll say that, no items under discussion. So is there a motion for approval on consent?
So move. Second.
Move, second. All right. Roll call, please, Brian.
Jobson,
Yes.
Dickman,
Yes.
Grip,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Peacock,
Yes.
Condon,
Yes.
Ambrose, and Dorman.
Yes.
10 yeses, Your Honor.
Thank you. The consent's approved. And next item is we do have a few items under other ordinances, resolutions, and motions. First, though, is our motion for suspension of the rules so we can add these items to the agenda.
So move.
Move. And second, roll call, please, Brian.
Dunn,
Yes.
Condon,
Yes.
Peacock,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Jobson,
Yes.
Dorman,
Yes.
Dickman,
Yes.
Ambrose, Lee,
No.
and Grip.
Yes.
9 yeses and 1 no, Your Honor.
Very good. The rules are suspended. The first item is a resolution approving case F20-08, being the request of Prairie Heights Development LLC for a final plat of Prairie Heights 3rd Edition for a 23-lot subdivision on 25.04 acres located west of Old Brandy Lane and Mississippi Avenue. Is there any public with comment? Okay, Alderman motion and second. Any discussion from any alderman people? Seeing none, Brian, please call the roll.
Ambrose, McGinnis,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Jobson,
Yes.
Condon,
Yes.
Grip,
Yes.
Peacock,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Dickman,
Yes.
and Dorman.
Yes.
10 yeses, Your Honor.
Very good, the resolution's adopted. Next item is a resolution approving the following street closure on the listed dates. Anti-Stopulus celebration on 2nd downtown, Friday, September 25th, 2020, 2:30 to 10 p.m. Closure is East 2nd Street from Perry Street to just west of the main entrance of 321 East 2nd Street. Is there any public that would like to comment? A motion and a second. Okay, any discussion? Alderwoman McGinnis.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to, this was something that came fairly late in the agenda last week, and there were some concerns, and the parties were able to meet, discuss, and come up with a change, and I'm glad they were able to do that. It does, I know that as council, that we want to try to be agile, that these are tough times for businesses, and we certainly want to do what we can to accommodate. And, you know, that's part of it, and the other part of it is some of these requests do take time to move, surely through the system, and this was a little bit short notice, so it would be nice to have more, but again, we're trying to be flexible in this really, really tough time for sure. So thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Anyone else? Alderwoman Lee.
I would also like to build on what Marion just said. I really feel that there should be a very good reason for us to suspend the rules, and it shouldn't be for the convenience of the person requesting it. I was approached about the first one, and I offered to talk with him, and I did not hear back. And so I just feel that people should, if they have the opportunity, they should, and I recognize flexibility, need for flexibility, like you said, Marion, Alderwoman McGinnis. But I also think that there's some situations where people could actually do a little better planning and time management. And that should be up to us to cover for that. So that's why I voted no on the suspension of the rules, and I feel pretty strongly about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderwoman Lee. Anyone else? Okay, Brian, please call the roll.
Lee,
Yes.
Jobson,
Yes.
Grip,
Yes.
Condon,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Dickman,
Yes.
Ambrose, Dorman,
Yes.
Peacock,
Yes.
and Dunn.
Yes.
10 yeses, Your Honor.
Very good. The resolution is adopted. One more item. Motion approving the following noise variance requests for the listed date and time. Again, Annie Stopulus celebration on 2nd, downtown, Friday, September 25th, 2020, 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Outdoor music over 50 dBA. Is there any public with comment? Alderman, motion and a second. Any discussion from anyone? Seeing none, Brian, please call the roll.
Grip,
Yes.
Jobson,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Dorman,
Yes.
Ambrose, Dunn,
Yes.
Dickman,
Yes.
Peacock,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
and Condon.
Yes.
10 yeses, Your Honor.
Very good. The motion passes. Next item, is there any public with business? If any public has business, please step to the podium. Please give your name, order, address. If you're not from here, we'd love to know where you are. Please come to the podium. You'll have 5 minutes.
Hello. I am Amanda Sharp. I live in the First Ward. Hello again. Thank you for having me today, as always. As you know, I've been coming and I've been talking about racism a lot, and I've been doing this because we are seeing the same injustices over and over again. As I would hope most of you know, Breonna Taylor's killers will not be charged. Will not be charged for her death. As you remember, she was shot and killed while sleeping in her bed. Sure, one officer was indicted with endangerment, but it's safe to assume he will probably be acquitted. I can assume this because we've seen it happen time and time again. This is not justice or accountability by any means. To spell it out for you, being charged with shooting into an apartment next to Breonna Taylor, but not for killing her, is showing that property is worth more than a Black woman. No charges for her death is making it very clear that our country does not love Black women, let alone Black and brown people. I believe every person who sits idly by is responsible for this. We have created our own racist criminal justice system, and it can no longer be ignored. Our community needs to stand together and show that we love and support Black and brown people now more than ever. We need to fight for Breonna Taylor and every victim of police brutality. I understand that our officers went through training on bias-based policing in 2019, but would like to remind everybody that it is now 2020. These types of training should be annually and required for all officers and all city supervisors. And I also don't feel like anything was accomplished during the City Council Civil Rights Commission meeting, and the time to act is now. No more talking and no more doing. Your community is looking to you, the leaders, during this scary time of constant injustice. There's no need to wait for a bill to tell you what to do. You can do it. As a sidebar, I would also like to address a concerning issue of city council meetings cutting the live feed when it gets to public comment. These past 2 meetings, it has been cut when it got to public comment, and I'm not sure if it's being done again today since I am here, but I am directly asking that it stop. What we have to say matters, even if it hurts people's feelings. Cutting the feed is shameful and silencing your own community, and I will not stand for that. Back to more important matters. What happened today is a tragic injustice. If this makes you angry, good. Let's be angry together and make some changes. I would like to end my talk today with a moment of silence for Breonna Taylor. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Okay, all in favor? I apologize, Ms. Spiegel. Is there anything else? Very good. We're adjourned. Thank you.